What do you mean that victim 3, alleged victim 3, is missing? And that the prosecution cannot contact her or her attorney because it's going straight to voicemail and they can't communicate with her. Therefore, they're telling the judge in the second part of this first hearing that they don't know if she's genuinely going to come and give a testimony. If in this first day of when the trial begins, the prosecution have confirmed that they can't even get in contact with one of the alleged victims and that she basically is missing at this moment and they don't know if she's going to even give her testimony, what about the rest? Because one thing about dominoes, you drop one and the rest will fall with them. That in itself is very alarming and confusing. Do you think Diddy's people have anything to do with the fact that these victims are suddenly now not wanting to put out a testimony? Because why can't the prosecution get in touch with you or your attorney? You might be busy. Your phone might be off. You might not want to know about the trial. You're scared about the trial. You're scared about giving your testimony. But best believe the prosecution should be able to contact the attorney. So what do you mean that this alleged victim is missing? What do you mean that she may not come and testify? Somebody needs to come and fix this mess, because this is day one of the Diddy hearing part 2, where we go into the latter of this hearing, which is taking place after that lunch break. There were 2 lunch breaks, and there was a first part of the hearing, lunch break, second part of the hearing, lunch break. And so I covered that in my previous video, which is linked in here. This is now the remainder of the first hearing, which lasted a very long time, and I want to get into the rest of this. Hey guys, it's Murad Murali. Daily and consistent content. Subscribe to the channel, comment down below, but give that click and subscribe. It's one click. Give this video a thumbs up, and let's go straight into this hearing. Now again, a lot of transcripts, but I've written my own notes so that you guys don't get lost in translation, and I'm going to give you the gist of the rest of this, and we definitely need to get into this second part. I keep saying second part. It's the rest of the hearing of the first day of the trial, because it's very important. One of the jurors says that I too saw a documentary on HBO, and the judge says, any further questions? Ayuse Comey says, I have one, and he shows Diddy's lawyers, and the prosecution Comey shows the judge. If you heard testimonies from people you saw on the HBO documentary, would you believe them? That was the question that the prosecution wrote. The juror responds, it would depend. I don't remember much. The juror then walks away and leaves. Ayuse Comey, prosecution says, this juror hesitated about the HBO documentary. We anticipate some of these in the documentary testifying at trial are going to do so. Therefore, we ask for exclusion. We don't want these jurors because they're hesitating about the HBO documentary. And the HBO documentary was very negative about Diddy, so prosecution don't want somebody who's hesitant on it. Diddy's lawyer says, she said she could be fair, we want to keep her. The judge responds and says, no, she is excluded. So that is a whack for Diddy's lawyer, because they wanted to keep this juror. For a juror to be unsure about Diddy after watching a HBO documentary, that is a gold mine for Diddy's lawyers, and they have lost that juror. Not good news for the rest of this hearing. Not good news. One juror was questioned and said that he saw the timeline of the arrest, the house raids, and knows about Casa the artist. Another juror, get this guys, said that he actually works for Diageo. He works for Diageo, guys. One thing about Diageo, one thing about that company, they are going to be intertwined within this Diddy case one way or another. They're going to find themselves somehow infiltrating this case and infiltrating the demise of Diddy, because Diddy tried to come for Diageo, and now one of the jurors works for Diageo, is part of this trial. Well, would you look at that, guys? Juror 116, another one, speaks on how he can't even see violence. He can't stand seeing people fall from skateboards, and he says that he can be fair, and he actually did see parts of the Cassie Hotel video. Why this person is talking about falling from skateboards, I don't understand. A lot of these jurors are talking about random stuff. Diddy's lawyers states in response to jury 116, how can you refuse to see forms of violence in court but not on TV? How can you watch the Cassie video but then you refuse to watch violence on TV? It doesn't make any sense. The juror responds saying, with simple responses to this is why Diddy's lawyers are dumb. Simple response to Diddy's lawyer, he states the latter was staged. Boom. He says the TV violence is staged. The Cassie stuff is not. He is not excluded, which is another beatdown for Mark Agnifilo, because that was a simple, effortless response that the judge was able to understand, and he said, you know what, we're going to keep this juror. Mark Agnifilo said, you know, trying to trap him, saying that you don't like violence, but yeah, you watch the Cassie video, that doesn't make any sense. And he was like, well, the TV stuff I watch is staged. This Cassie video is not, so it's a whole different conversation. Boom. So Mark Agnifilo as the lead lawyer is a big mistake. And this is what I've been stating. They should have been had Brian Steele, Mark Geragos, two of the powerhouse lawyers as part of the 8-pack deck on team of lawyers. This is who they should have had, because it doesn't make sense, because Mark Agnifilo is not the one. It really doesn't make any sense. Another juror, 118, says, I know Mr. Combs has parties with drugs and intimacy. I learned it from podcasts. I listened to Joe Rogan. The judge says, can you be fair? He says, yes. This particular juror is not excused, nor is juror 127. They are moving fast. This is the transcript of the alleged victim that is missing. Judge, I will see some of you on May 12th. Then will victim 3 testify? AU say, prosecution says, I don't know. She may not show. Judge says, will you mention her in the opening? Prosecution, I don't expect so. If she were to testify, it will be in the second half. The judge says, if you can, tell them later this week. Then Brian Steele jumps into the field and says, could we enter your courthouse at 7 or 7:15 a.m. so we could meet with Mr. Combs? Judge says, fine with me, check with the marshals. Okay, so many jurors, guys, the rest of the hearing that I didn't really, discuss the transcripts are just many jurors who are discussing either their own stories of other people, either discussing their own stories, or stories of other people close to them experiencing SA. Most of them are liberal. Most of them were not excluded. And many of them were simply just discussing and introducing the different types of jobs that they do, where they work, a hairdresser, and etc. That was also the rest of the hearing. One man was excused after he admitted his wife previously worked at a law firm that handled depositions connected to the litigation in the deadly City College stampede of 1991. She found Diddy's behavior to be very disturbing at that time, and therefore in general she does not like him. She was excused. Potential jurors were asked if they watched crime shows, whether they gathered their news form, and if they had an opinion on hip-hop. Other questions included whether prospective jurors had ever experienced a traumatic event, and if they believe that wealthy people get away with things that the less wealthy do not. So that is the majority of the rest of that hearing, and I think that this victim 3 that is missing is the major juice in the rest of this hearing, which is why I needed to discuss this, because where the hell is that victim gone? I'm very confused. And also Diddy's lawyer Mark Agnifilo is getting read by these jurors, and he basically is getting whacked. The people that he wants to keep as jurors have been excluded, and then the jurors that he has questions for, they are able to clap back quickly, and therefore Mark Agnifilo loses the points, and the judge sides with the jurors in terms of not excluding them, or feels like they shouldn't be excluded. So it looks like it's not going for Diddy's lawyers, to be honest with you. I feel like they're not handling the questions well, but at the same time the prosecution losing one of their victims is not good news, because they don't have a long list of people who are going to give evidence and testify as it is. So you need all the people that you can get. The less victims and people that you have, the less stronger your case is going to be. Yeah. Now, Rolling Stones are discussing the fact that Michael B. Jordan, they can confirm, is not going to be a witness in regards to this case, but that he was threatened by P. Diddy. It is unclear what role, if any of the 5 may have. The Rolling Stone has confirmed, the 5 referring to the celebrities mentioned, that Michael B. Jordan will not be called as a witness in the trial. Rolling Stone has also learned that Jordan and Ventura, Cassie, spent time together in 2015 and is referenced in Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy. During a break in Diddy's relationship with the R&B singer, Cassie began a flirtatious relationship with Michael B. Jordan, now revealed to be this actor. And according to a lawsuit, when Diddy found out, he allegedly called the actor and he threatened him, and then Michael B. Jordan proceeded to call Cassie and said, you need to speak to Diddy. The thing is, Cassie's lawsuit did not mention Michael B. Jordan's name. This is the first time that his name has been thrown into this Diddy mess. It was simply actor. It was very vague. We don't know who it was. So, his name was not mentioned. So unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that Diddy was threatening Michael B. Jordan. Rolling Stones have confirmed this. They've confirmed that he's not going to be a witness. I don't understand how Rolling Stone have that information, because when these celebrities were mentioned via these jurors, we don't know in what way they were going to be mentioned. In my opinion, I thought he could have been a witness, but Rolling Stone have somehow got intel and have confirmed that this man is not a witness. Also, Michael B. Jordan has just had a very successful movie called Sinners that is basically going viral. He does not need this mess and this PR nonsense, and I feel like he will easily fly above it because his movie is doing so well. He does not need to deal with this stuff. So for the fact that his name has now been thrown into this and mentioned by a juror is simply not good news. But also this goes to show us these celebrities being mentioned, perhaps that they're not going to have any affiliation to the court case. Maybe they are going to be a witness, maybe they're not. I feel like we know Kid Cudi's going to be a witness, but I feel like the others we're not really sure of. But his name was not mentioned in the lawsuit initially in November 2023 when she dropped that. So I wanted to add that to the video because this is what Rolling Stone have said. They've come out with an article. And breathe. Guys, it is 4 a.m. in the morning right now in London. I needed to write my own notes on the rest of the transcripts, which were very long, to get this out to you guys so that we guys all stay clued up. I do believe that there are probably going to be some more hearings later this week in terms of jury selection. I don't think jury selection has been completed. Correct me if I'm wrong. 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 But I believe jury selection has not been... I don't believe it's been completed. If it has, then we're not going to be getting any hearings until the 12th of May. But as of right now, the HBO staffer is staying in the jury pool, which is a big loss for Diddy's people as well, which I think that we need to discuss. But as we can see here, here are the instructions for the jurors. You are sworn to give true and complete answers to all questions in the questionnaire. Do not discuss your questions and answers or the case with anyone now until further instructed by the court. Do not do your own research in the case. As you can see here, these are the instructions that jurors must read carefully. I'm not entirely sure if it's been completed. If it has been completed, then we're not going to be getting any new hearings until 12th of May. If it has been completed in one day, I would be shocked, but I don't think that, jury selection is going to be completed in one day. But they're running through it fast because they want to get through everything ASAP. They want to get to it. They don't want any delays in this case. Diddy wanted a speedy trial. There are also new court sketches, as we can see, of Diddy hugging his lawyers, smiling, keeping on that defiant spirit that he believes that he has. And some people have been responding to these court sketches saying that this is not the Diddy that we've been known. It isn't. This Diddy is different. He's lost a lot of weight. His eyes are more gaunt, sunken in, a lot more skinny, grey hair all over himself. But don't let the change in his appearance fool you. This is still the same man being accused of the madness, but this new change in his appearance, with excluding the hair dye, is all meant to work in his benefit, to show the world how feeble and weak this man is, that he can't be doing the things that he's been accused of. Don't be fooled for that, guys. Please don't be fooled for that. Let me know your thoughts are, guys, when it comes to this video. Please do send a tip. There's a $ there. It goes a long way. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, Murad Nation. Click that button and subscribe. It's just one click, guys. That's all you guys have to do. And click the notifications bell and keep that on, because I'm going to keep coming out with these trial review videos with everything that is going on so that you guys stay clued up, which should be roughly around 10 to 12 minutes. This is slightly going over. I do apologize, but I want to make sure that you guys are all clued up with everything. It's a lot. It is a lot, guys, but this is the best way, I believe, to review trial content, because the transcripts are just a lot in an actual hearing, a trial that has begun. We can just get confused and lost in it. I don't want to go live for 3-4 hours waiting for each update to roll in, because I do feel like, respectfully, we've all got lives to live. We've all got children. No, I ain't got children, but people got children to feed, bills to pay, jobs, 9 to 5. Like, everyone's busy. Do you understand? So I just feel like people aren't really going to have the time for that. So I will definitely be still going live 110%, but I think it's imperative to give content like this so that you guys can keep this in the background of me speaking whilst you're doing whatever you're doing, so that you guys are clued up with everything that is going on. So these videos, I believe, are the best. Comment down below if you agree with that, so I know. I feel like feedback is important from you guys. Subscribe to the channel. It's just one click. Comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. The Met Gala is happening right now as I film this, but it's 4 a.m. in the morning. I need to edit this and put this up, and I will be discussing the Met Gala tomorrow and the affiliations with Diddy as well. All of that will be discussed tomorrow. Over and out. This is the first day of the trial. It's been a very busy day. 2 separate videos covering this because the hearing was so long, but each video of me covering the hearing has been jam-packed. There's been so much information that I think I'm glad that I did it this way. Subscribe, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.